Today I'll be making How to Train Your Dragon Nails, specifically inspired by Toothless from the first movie. Every nail design will have their own items list that you can pause on so you can gather your own supplies if you want to recreate it, and I'll have the exact products with the color names and extra details in the description. I mixed black and white paint to get a dark gray and made a curved shape for the head. I messed up on my shape, but let's pretend it was on purpose so that I can show you how I fix it. One way is to gently scrape off the paint when it's dry with anything similar to a toothpick. For bigger mistakes, I use a wet cotton swab and wipe it away like it never happened. Now that I have the right shape, I'm going to continue on with the ears. So I flipped my brush the other way and made 2 diagonal lines. And painted a final layer of gray. Then I took my dotting tool and I made dots right along the edge of the ears. Then taking a bigger dotting tool, I made a dot and dragged it down to connect it to the head, and repeated that on the other side. Now with black and a tiny paintbrush that I got at a craft store, we're going to make the spikes along the front of his face. Then 2 lines for his nostrils, and 2 vertical lines that connect to those. Now with green and a flat round brush, we're going to make the eyes. Then taking black and my small brush again, I'm going to outline the eye shape. For the pupil, I tried to make a rounded rectangular shape. Then going back to my gray color, I'm going to make a line underneath the eye to give it its final shape. I also used that gray to fix the outline of the eyes. Now with black, I'm going to make a line to separate the face from the ears. And a dotting tool with white to add to the eyes. Then with my smaller dotting tool, I went over the edges with black. And after everything was dry, I sealed it with a glossy top coat. You could just stop there, but I wanted more dimension for the face, so I actually went over all the gray areas with a matte top coat. Then I added a glossy top coat back over all the black areas. I also used it to make scales. So that when it's all done, it looks like this. So our base color is going to be a sandy tone. I didn't have a nail polish for this, so I mixed yellow and white acrylic paint. And taking that same yellow paint, I'm going to mix it now with brown and a little bit of water, mix it all together, and get a disposable makeup sponge and just pat it all around the nail and a little bit in the middle. Then I mixed my sand color with brown to make a peach and patted that all over. Now taking our original sand color, I'm going to focus mainly on the center. Then I added some more shading along the edges. Now I'm taking my line art tool and I'm going to start at the center of the nail. So I'm going to do the first line in the center of the top word, and that'll be my guide for the rest of the letters. This is a tough one to explain on exactly what you need to do to make the letters, but hopefully just by watching, you'll be able to see what lines I made so you can replicate it. And the last letter for the word night I did off screen, but it's an easy symbol, just looks like an arrow. So for the final step, I just went over with the matte top coat. First, I started off with a reddish brown base. Then with a darker brown and a makeup sponge, I'm going to apply that mainly on the outer edge. Then I went back with my base color in some areas and mixed black with my base color to finish the shading on the sides. Then to make the dragon, we need to make a spiral shape, which I'll show you on paper because the actual footage got too blurry that you couldn't see anything. At first, it'll just be a C shape. Then from about the center of that, I'm going to make another C, but it's going to be facing the other way. Then from the tip of that, we're going to make another small curve inward. And make another curve facing the other way and connect them. Then I went over and thickened all of my lines. For the head, I made a crescent shape and then extended the line on the bottom. And at the end of that, made a diagonal line. Now I'm extending the top line. And on the end of that, I'm going to make a little line pointing up and a curved line that's going to go through the line I just made. Now adding some sharp teeth on the top and bottom. Then 3 very thin lines on the end, 2 little spikes on the top of the snout, and 2 triangular shapes for the eyes. Fixing the head shape a little. The horns are just a diagonal line facing one way and making it curve down. For the wings, I made a rectangle on the back, a squiggled line connecting to it, a curved line on the bottom, and filled it in. I'm extending that curve a little bit more on the bottom. And adding 2 more curves. Now we're adding spikes up to the tail. And going over some of the previous lines. Back with our base color, we're going to make dots for the eyes and nostril. Taking my dark brown color, I'm going to make a little line across the bottom of all the dots. And finally finish it off with the matte top coat. Our base color is going to be this glossy red polish. Then I'm taking a piece of tape and placing it diagonally on the nail, making sure that there's no gaps or bubbles. Then I'm taking dark gray and painting over the side that does not have tape. So after I removed the tape and it was all dried, this is how it looks. I'll go ahead and add my matte top coat onto the gray. Now I'm taking white acrylic paint in my small brush and making an oval shape. Then adding 2 small lines on the sides, we're going to extend those upwards for the horns. Now I'm doing a second coat over my oval, and I'm going to start to do the teeth on the bottom. I started with the middle one, then the sides, then the ones in between. I'm taking my tool that's like a toothpick, and I'm just defining those gaps in between. And taking my handy cuticle pusher and sharpening up all the lines. Then going back with my white paint just to fix up the final shape. Then taking red acrylic paint and a dotting tool, I'm going to make a dot, then take a paintbrush to drag it into more of a tear shape. I painted over the eye I didn't like with white and tried it again. Much better. And when all of that was dry, I went over with a glossy top coat this time on just the right half of the nail. Now this could be the finished nail, but I decided to experiment some more. So using my liner brush, I did diagonal lines with a glossy top coat on one side and diagonal lines with a matte top coat on the other side. And a final glossy line through the center of everything. So this is the final nail design. My nail is already prepped with the base coat, white nail polish, and top coat. Then I'm taking my dark gray and my small brush, then make a line curving upward to the side of the nail. Repeat for the other side. I'm extending the tip and making a sharper point now. And filling in the tip of the nail. Now taking black and my small brush, I'm going to outline the top part. And make a line from the tip to the bottom of the nail. I made the line a little thicker than I wanted, so I'm just going over with the gray to make it thinner. Then taking my liner brush in black, I'm going to outline along the edge of the nail. Fixing up my lines a little. Then going over the tip with a matte top coat. And applying a glossy top coat over all of the black lines. And we're finally finished. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I definitely want to make more of the characters from all of the movies in future videos. So if that's something you'd like to see, definitely let me know which character you'd like to see next. See you soon!